Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that the sun no longer shines, not because of an eclipse, not because of a storm, but because something has darkened the entire sky, for months, then years. In 536 AD, people across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East witnessed a terrifying mystery that would plunge the world into famine, chaos, and one of the darkest periods in human history. This is the story of the year the world changed forever. The year is 536 AD. Across the ancient world, life follows its familiar rhythm. Farmers prepare their fields. Merchants travel dusty roads between distant cities. Ships cross busy seas carrying silk, grain, and precious metals. The mighty remnants of the Roman world still stand. Great kingdoms rise across Europe and Asia. Millions of people live their lives without knowing that a catastrophe is already unfolding. Then the sky changes. At first, it is subtle. The sunlight seems weaker. The days feel colder. But week after week, the darkness grows. Soon, people begin to fear that the world itself is dying. Imagine standing in the streets of Constantinople, the glittering capital of the Eastern Roman Empire. Normally, sunlight would reflect from marble buildings and golden domes. Instead, a strange haze hangs overhead. The sun appears dim and pale, like the moon. Ancient writers recorded that daylight lost its brightness. Shadows became weak. Crops struggled to grow. No one understood why. There were no satellites, no scientific instruments, only fear and uncertainty. Rumors spread rapidly. Some believed the gods were angry. Others feared the end of civilization. And the strange darkness was not limited to one region. Reports emerged from distant lands thousands of miles apart. The entire northern hemisphere seemed trapped beneath a giant veil. As months passed, the real disaster began. Temperatures fell dramatically. Summer arrived, but brought little warmth. Fields that should have been green remained barren. Farmers watched helplessly as harvests failed. Villages faced hunger. Cities faced shortages. Families were forced to ration what little food remained. Across Europe, Asia, and parts of the Middle East, famine spread relentlessly. The darkness had become more than a mystery. It had become a fight for survival. Recent scientific evidence suggests that a massive volcanic eruption may have blasted enormous amounts of ash and sulfur high into the atmosphere. The particles reflected sunlight back into space, cooling the planet and darkening the skies. But for the people living through it, there was no explanation. Only cold, only hunger, only fear. Then, just as the world struggled to recover, even greater suffering followed. Trade networks weakened, kingdoms became unstable, populations shrank. And only a few years later, another catastrophe struck. The devastating plague known as the Justinianic Plague swept through parts of the known world. Cities that had already endured famine now faced deadly disease. The combination of climate disaster, hunger, and plague transformed entire civilizations. Many historians now consider 536 AD the beginning of one of the most difficult periods humanity has ever experienced. A single environmental event may have altered the course of history for generations. Eventually, the skies cleared. The sun returned. Fields grew once more. Civilizations adapted and survived. But the scars remained. The people of 536 AD lived through something almost unimaginable. A world where daylight faded, harvests vanished, and uncertainty ruled every horizon. It was a reminder of how fragile civilization can be, and how a single event, hidden high above the clouds, can change history forever. If you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries, consider subscribing for more cinematic historical documentaries, and tell us in the comments.